All right. Check one. Check two. What is it? Oh, this is it. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour with your host, me, Rob Cantrell, coming back again. Episode 185, I believe that's the number. I don't know why we have to calculate them. We just do. I don't know why the numbers feel good when podcasting, but it does. It organizes. You don't want to, podcasting, you want to send it out into the abyss, but you don't want to, the abyss is so abyssful these days that I think a little bit of a organizing or breadcrumbs with the episode is what is preferred. Welcome to the Cannabis Coffee Hour. I'm your host. I'll say it again. My name is Rob Cantrell. At least that's what I tell myself. We are this moment. This moment is really what this podcast is all about. And at this moment, let me tell you, I got some of the best herb out there. I don't know if it's the best herb. There's a lot of herb. The herb world, oh my God. It's blooming. But I got some good herb, and I've been around the block, my man, or woman, or, alien. I've never seen an alien, everybody. I just got to say that. A lot of pot smokers are like aliens all day. And I've been through some serious alien phases. But nah. I got to say, I haven't run into one proper. Not saying it won't happen. Could happen. Everything's happening so weirdly these days, it wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, it doesn't take away from this moment. And even those conceptual thoughts of future aliens, it's not really the truth. And the truth is what, everybody's kind of begging for. But the truth is, I got some fire-ass weed. In a damn good lighter, the Jeep. And it's baby blue. In this new, I got this glass one hitter with a wooden stem, which I love. But I think it's a ripoff of the other one that I had. And that kind of bums me out. Like, it was a great design, and I think they just mass produced them. But this design has been out there. I talked a lot about smoking devices on the last one, but this is a great one. At least this is what I've learned is don't super fall in love with your smoking devices, because they always change up or you lose, but you can enjoy it while you got it. And this is a good one. And the strain that I got is great. New York is just becoming very, very cannabis friendly. But the New York pace, I think there's going to be, and that's what I love about this podcast, because I think it's in a great situation right now, because New York is kind of blooming with cannabis, and so is New Jersey. I really got to get this podcast out to New Jersey, because they have really come around in terms of, I think they have a better idea of how to make money and how to, I don't know, how they're rolling out, how they're being legal. Each state is a little bit different. Everybody has their own vibe. And it seems like New York City, it's kind of either coming out of the bodega vibe, smoke shop, CBD store, into, venture capitalism, street cats. It's like in the middle there, where it's kind of legal, so the cops are just turning the other way. But there's no, like, with California, they kind of had a good, there were so many weed nerds out there, I think, in terms of being regulated really properly. Nothing's perfect. This whole thing's so brand new. But what I have here is Sour Lemon OG, which is a great strain, and it's an uplifting strain. So this podcast should be zipping quite along. And this coffee I got, oh man, I gotta tell you, I've stumbled in. I was kind of going through a weird coffee phase. I was wondering, I think I got it down. You just can't go full crazy. I think through my 20s and 30s, I just drank a lot of coffee. And I still do. It is kind of a source of love, but it's also the older you get, it just wears you down. So sometimes I do dark chocolate. Sometimes I do. I love some chai tea. I love me. The other day I had a great blended watermelon. That's summer in New York City. If you find a joint, I know this great Korean joint that does watermelon smoothies. So it's just pretty much chomped ice, crushed ass ice, and fresh watermelon, no seeds. And it just goes down like the most au natural slushy of all time. Um, and that sometimes is a good. But the coffee I got today, oh man, I'm gonna take a sip of it. I got it in my favorite um, coffee cup, ceramic. I fall in love with my coffee cups. I got two, and some people like funny ones. I got my Pink Floyd one, and then I got my. I need to get some more other ones. I need to start making them. We've moved the podcast over to the YouTube. Find the YouTube, everybody. Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube is where it's at. I'm going to unleash episodes. We're going to do guest episodes. I'm kind of getting a good feel of where I want to go on how I want to roll this thing out. Like, I really want to do a lot of solo ones and be confident to do solo ones and talk about how I want to talk about. But also, don't be too self-indulgent and bore you guys. Sour Lemon OG is really good. I'll read you the leafly. But I also just wanted to give a shout out to this coffee. This is from Pipe and Tabor. I found this in Red Hook. I went and had lunch in Red Hook over the weekend, which is this really, it's like the last beacon of weird Brooklyn. Not the last beacon, but it's always been there. It's kind of like this weird alcove of an old shipping market. Shipping, and there is still shipping going on. And then also like manufacturing, like small manufacturing and shipping. This place called Red Hook, which was industrialized, but now it's got this funky artist cove thing. And I came across this roasting company, and they don't even have a store. This dude's just so hardcore. He just roasts in this fucking, like, there's all these like loft like at the edge of this water. But this place was high class. Like, it was next to this wine place. But this dude was all about, and he used to roast for Stumptown. But he was all about, and the coffee just smelled so good, and he had all these different roasters, and he wasn't really selling. I think he only sells like on the weekend. But shout out to Pipe and Tabor. Oh my God, this is like literally the best bag of beans. Like he was saying to me, he used the word fudge. It literally is like lava fudge coffee, and it's not like overbearing like Stumptown. It's just fudge, strong, good. This guy gives a fuck. That's the thing that's what's lacking. I keep on thinking like maybe I should get into the cannabis business and open a cannabis store, because what's lacking is just a general knowledge and respect there's some good places, and I've given some shout outs, but I think there's just so much money on the table and there's like Delta 8 and all this CBD, and now the laws are getting, with all the politics that are getting stirred up, some states are going fucking the other way. I mean, we just saw Roe versus Wade. Like I've said, I don't want to get political, but I think I'm going to get dragged into it just if they start messing with the herb out. Sour limit. Tasted great. That was the second one hitter, so it was still ash, but it still tasted great. Like this herb that I've got, sour lemon OG, is probably, I don't know. it's just a really good writing, getting shit done type of strain. And it's not too overpowering, but it also is like, oh, you definitely smoke some weed. If that makes any sense. Sour lemon, aka sour lemon, also known as sour lemon OG or OG sour lemon, is a sativa dominant. So that means you're up. Remember, indica is in the couch. Sativa, you're up. Sativa, made from a cross of California sour. All right. And lemon OG. This is 65%. This sativa strain is named after its aromatic sour smell with recognizable notes of lemon, lime, and apple. Sour lemon elevates the mind and body simultaneously, making this to be a go-to strain for social events or a busy day. This is a good New York weed, so yeah, this is like what everybody wants to smoke. Sour lemon OG, thank you very much. And then with Pipe and Tabor Roasting, I got this bag, and this guy was super interesting. And I don't always buy bags of coffee, but that's what I think is going to be interesting about this podcast, because the coffee world is exploding, and it's also been in culture for thousands of years. That's the thing. And the same thing is with cannabis. But American culture, it's been like under the table and in the back rooms and comedy clubs for the last 8,000 years. But everything's wide open. I mean, the states are going wide open. But what I wanted to pivot or divot. But Arkansas is like the rise of like fake weed is going up. And that's just like, I've heard some really bad stories and know about some stuff about that, like K9 and like, I don't know, there's like these fake weed brands that are fake weed, and it's all like chemical compounds, and it's literally like smoking battery acid, and people's brains like pop. Like, it is bad news, man. Spice, I think that's what it is. It's definitely not the spice of life, I think. That synthetic bad weed. Keep that out of there, man. I got a big jug of water here, bruh. I got a big jug. I got my Nalgene. I need to drink 4 of those. But I woke up, I drank half of it. So that was good. It started the day good. Drinking lots of water. Didn't meditate or stretch, but I'm not getting on myself. I'll do that later in the day. But I do find if I stretch every day, I just want to stretch every day and take stretching serious. Because you're setting up your future self when you're stretching, especially like the chest. Gotta get good posture. I don't want to have that podcasting body where it's all like slumped over. But man, this is definitely some great herb and definitely some great coffee. Brooklyn, it's about to rain. I was going to get a guest, but then I was like, I'm going to back off. I got some things popping a little bit on the home front that I have to, the thing about podcasting, and the one thing I wanted to do about this podcast is just keep it weekly, keep it in there, keep it grooving, keep it moving, but you got to do it. And I do all the editing, and we're getting to a point, I'm simplifying it, and I love the YouTube. So you guys got to check out, it's just put in Cannabis Coffee Hour Podcast into YouTube. And there is and you see the official logo. Click that bad boy. We're going to put full episodes up there that were on the Patreon. I'm going to leak those out. But also I'm going to I got it almost to the point where everything's automated. As soon as I put one up myself, it all goes there. So I'm keeping everything just low, simple minimalism vibe, and work on the content. And we got a sponsor. I didn't want to start talking, but I talked to a sponsor just yesterday. And we're going to have I don't think I'm going to pay for weed for a while. Is how that's going to work. But also going to have guests have gift bags. This is all happening. So if you want to contact me, contact at robcantrell.com is the email. And I can even go through my management for booking the podcast out there on the road. I'm doing dates, but I'm just doing some local stuff coming up. I do know I'm doing the Cobra Club, this show called Bushwick Bears, and that's just in a month or so. And then I've got another one booked, but just small spots around Brooklyn. But I am working on a new special, so I'll get out there and do it. When Omicron flared up, I kind of dipped out, and then but I think I'm out of some funk, and I got that acting gig out of the way where I couldn't have COVID or it would fuck the money up hardcore. But that's how everything is now. Like everything is like up in the air all the time. But I think it's settling. I don't know if it's settled. It matters really what you listen to. I've been definitely ingesting a lot of politics, and I kind of have to stay away from it because it's just like too consuming. And I just want to live my life. But then I think it's the anger, or I don't know. I think it's some type of, for me personally, I still vote and I'm going for who I'm going for. And I don't like the trends that are happening out there, especially against cannabis. But a lot of them, but I don't want to get all preachy and all that stuff right now. I want to smoke some good herb out. I want to talk about tunes. I want to talk about this sour lemon. I want to talk about the pipe and Tabor. This dude, I don't want to blow his spot up because he's just this one cat. I met him, Steven, I believe his name is, and he's just a hardcore coffee roaster. And the place is, you can check him out, Pipe at Tabor Roasting. And he gets the best beans. And I have to say, I was psyched about the coffee, and then it blew me away. This one is his bourbon Catarua. I don't even know, man. This dude is on a whole other level. Not in a bad, douchey way. It's very simple, but he was, in terms of like how I like my cannabis or how I like doing business with people that give a fuck. Like this guy completely gives a fuck. From the beginning of the bean to like the roast, and he came from Stumptown. So, but he has a love for coffee, kind of like, I mean, I never went that hardcore where I started roasting, but this dude did. And what I'm learning about the roasting and the coffee roasting game, and I'll say this for this podcast, this is not a super technical podcast, nerd ass podcast for coffee or weed. I'm a enjoyer of life. I like having fun. I'll break down, I'll break down these worlds, but it gets boring after a while. But I'll tell you about the coffee game. The coffee game in terms of, it's all about roasting the beans and then having a roaster. And these roasters look like old Mercedes Benzes and shit, they're like these old, like fucking, industrial machines that pretty much just cook the beans. You're pretty much just getting a bean from a fruit. He shows the bean. Pipe and Tabor has a good breakdown, but it shows like a coffee bean from its fruit phase. But man, I have the Guatemala. This is Guatemala, and this is the bourbon. And this is a $20 bag, but I have to say, man, I made it, and it just fucking kicked ass. I did it in my, the thing about it is what the Chemex that I'm using is, it's kind of douchey, it's glass, but what I'm learning is like it's how you pour it over, it's all these subtleties. And I think that's with coffee, like, once you get to a certain level of knowledge, it becomes more about the subtleties and the nuances. And that's almost like anything that you put your attention on. Same thing with comedy. Like, hacky stuff is like, back when I started in San Francisco in 99, like, you couldn't do within the comedy community. Like it was just so hardcore, but I don't think it's like that anymore. Like, with the internet, like, the communities are not as powerful, I guess. And then with the internet, everything's so instantaneous. But also, I do think there's a whole other flip side of, it's almost like a parody sense of comedies happening at the same time. I think Joe Pera taps into that, like, kind of parody. And then who's that other dude? Nathan For You. I don't even know if I'm using the right term, but you know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like you're making fun of a standard situation and kind of putting it on a certain tilt to make it look different and kind of show it in a different light, which is always dope. But I have been listening to a lot of tunes. But I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead. But I don't know. It's starting to get creepy a little bit. And you start watching some of these guys, like the keyboardist. I've been watching this Dear Mr. Fantasy. But then you realize that this dude is like really into heroin at the moment. But I don't know. Then I go into I can't even judge. And it is really good music. And he kills it. He's rocking it. And then I'm also listening to what I have up is I love just watching surf videos, just waves. Waves I love. And one of my friends, this dude used to film me. This guy filmed me in San Francisco, but he lived in Santa Cruz. My buddy Eric at Powerline Productions. Powerline Productions. And he lives in Santa Cruz. And he used to film the sets at the Punchline when I was starting out back in like 99 to 2003. And but he films all of Mavericks, all of this big wave in Santa Cruz. Like, he does, and he knows all the big wave surfers. So these guys are all like fighter pilots. These guys, amongst the surfer community, these guys are the most hardcore fucking ride or die type motherfuckers. And those motherfuckers are the most normal guys. That's what's crazy. And the most hardcore. They're doing it. But he has videos of this certain break in Mavericks, which is in Northern California off of Santa Cruz. But he has a lot of like slow motion and HD, like fucking hardcore, great surf videos. But he has one that he has a song from Stick Figure, which I'm a fan of. If you listen to this podcast, some good funky California reggae. But it's great music. But he has there's called Mavericks Left Session 2020 Powerline videos. Put that in, man. That is a great burn a few bowls or, just get some work done. The Wheel by Jerry Garcia. I talked about that on the last podcast. Modest Yahoo, King Without a Crown. Like, his jams are fucking sick. You can't diss on Modest Yahoo and you can't diss on King Without a Crown. It's just a fucking perfect jam. And it gets in pocket and it's completely original and funky and awesome. And it says something amazingly beautiful. But I watched him with that dude that does, bass lines. There's this YouTube cat that he's just like, boom, boom. He's just fucking killing it on the bass. Freddie Bass. I don't know what his name is. But Freddie Bass is a friend of mine. And man, that dude just plays bass all the time. I would like to get electric bass, like just have electric bass and sit around and have it on to an orange amp, like have a classic electric bass, good analog wire to wire. I like analog wires. I do this on podcast with a real Shure microphone with a hard line, like a line that you would even use into a comedy club, right into a lacy right into my computer. Um, and it's a good little setup. And I think I could do this more and more on the road, and that's what I'm excited about. And then I'm gonna produce like the guest ones is the idea. Like I'll do some guest ones, but I'm gonna be a little extra, maybe put some budget and hire some cats to help the cameras and all that, and then lock those all down, and then do these solo joints on the run. But it's kind of cool, like just running into cups of coffee. And this is what I want to do with cannabis as well. Shout out to TH Chiefs in the Cannabis Festival, the Blazed and Days Cannabis Festival that brought me up there. Started getting too excited. But, I just know that those gigs are going to come more and more as cannabis starts to open up because people are making money off of it. Damn, that coffee's good. Tabor and Pipe. So I just did the Chemex. This is like the third pot of it. Like I just got it down. Like you just get a little certain techniques. Everything that you do, you just work and work and work and get down to a certain technique. But you have to let everything go too. That's the whole thing about life, If you grip on too hard, that's the thing about it, memories. Like, it does take away from the now a little bit. And if you're living or breathing and not feeling pain, it's kind of like a beautiful moment. And you get to pack up more herb. I just went through one bowl, but I don't want to like smoke out too hard sometimes on these podcasts. I'm like, oh no, my little nephew is gonna listen to this. The thing about pot, yeah, everything's like a record. So that's what I've been kind of getting my head around. But I also love doing this podcast, and I think it's a great way to, go into the future, opening this discussion. And I think, yeah, our podcasts what are they, a gift or a curse? Because I love doing them, but you got to do them, and then everybody has them, so they're kind of annoying and played out. But they are a great way to absorb media, because you just have to listen, and everybody's got 8 billion things. But I'm trying to simple it down to like just drawing, stretching. I'm looking forward to going to the park to do some pull-ups. Not that many, but doing a few. And just sometimes hanging there. Just letting the weight just like stretch out. It's always good. Drinking. I'm going to drink this water. I'm going to pump some beats. I'm looking into this beat machine. I want to make some more music. You can check out my album, Caffeinated Dope Rhymes. I got some old hits. I got some new hits. But it's the one that's on that's on Spotify. My stand-up album got taken off of Spotify because my record label is in this fucking battle with them for money. Which you kind of want, but I also want my fucking album on Spotify. So that's why I have to do this new special ASAP. I think it's just time. I did my last album in 2018. I got enough material, and there's a couple old gems that I haven't ever put out there that I want to put out there. So yeah, as I craft this and work on it and manifest this as I speak my voice into the microphone. Gonna pack another bowl, gonna drink some more coffee, gonna talk to you for 15 or 20 more minutes, maybe another half hour, who knows. But I don't like doing anything longer than 90 minutes. Movies, podcasts, everything's gotta be. We're in a 45-minute to an hour type of zone. I think the Earth is spinning faster. So that's what I read, and that bummed me out. But I do think minimalism, even moving forward with like mental health and like, using plastics and bioplastics, like, cannabis could be used for, a lot of the plastics. Like it just needs to get cultivated and used and not all the different ways. It's just weird with the capitalist environment, you know, and how the plant can get exploited in so many different ways. But that's what it's there for. Kind of like the buffalo. Um, I'm packing this bowl, but it's like pretty much half of it's falling into my lap because I'm hanging on to a microphone. I'm not doing this one on video, so I think I can be a mess. I'm actually butt naked and wearing a pink fedora. No, I got gray shorts on and a white t-shirt. I got like 5 good white t-shirts. I try to keep it simple. But then I got some button down. I got some dry cleaning done. I got some nice like Hawaiian shirts dry cleaned, ready to rock. I got 6 of them ready for the next. Oh shit, I gotta look snazzy for this type of event. Not that that happens all the time, but you just gotta have those. And it sucks when you don't have those on deck. Which is sometimes you don't have them on deck. Same thing goes for contact lenses. I gotta get some new contact lenses. But damn it, man, I spilled like half this weed in my lap, and now I feel like a sludge because I got crumbs all on my lap. But I'm also being professional and keeping this podcast going, and packing bowls and doing all of that. But actually, 1 minute, second, and just say that I am performing, and I'm gonna gear up for this special. I don't know who's taping it just yet, but we're in talks. And but I wanted to plug my shows. So that would be October. October is the 6th at 10 p.m. I'm at the Cobra Club, which is a great place in Bushwick. But I'm with the Bushwick Bears, which is a funny comedy show and podcast. And my buddy Boris Hyken, who has been on this podcast, he runs that show. I'm doing his show, so I wanted to give a shout out to that. And then I'm doing in Ridgewood, Queens, like this place called the Sundown Bar, and that's on August 28th. If you're in Queens, I'm playing. I'm coming to Kings from Queens. I'm coming to play. Do a show there. So I haven't. But I'm just gonna work on this and doing some writing and stretching and doing pull-ups, playing with my cat. I've been too obsessed with my cat. But it's chill. It's just like nature, I kind of like observing nature. It's like you can't have like a mountain lion in your apartment, but you can have a cat, and a cat gives you like a door into nature. A pet does. So do plants. They all are. And we are a part of nature. And that's what we forgot, bruh. I don't want to start saying bruh. I say it like kiddingly. But for a minute there, I sounded like another podcaster. I was like, sometimes I say voices in like jest. But now I got that gravelly, like, oh, bruh. Now I got that. I got that ZZ Top voice from drinking a lot of great coffee and smoking a lot of great herb. I know I wanted to plug these trips. I wanted to brag about the books I've been reading, but I have been reading You Are Your Choices. That's like, it's not like super zen. It's like this old lady just breaking down, like getting your life together. But it's a good book. and it's like 5 pages. So I do that before meditating. So I have been meditating, but you don't need to brag about meditating if you meditate. It's like bragging about doing push-ups. Like it gets boring after a while. It is what it is. You're doing it just to, keep your mind kind of clear. Um, well, your mind is never clear, but at least you're aware of it, and that's what you kind of go back to. But I wanted to talk about those shows. I wanted to talk about this, how great this herb is. I wanted to finish up this coffee. Um, mm, Super delicious. This is like literally fudge. It is chocolate fudge. It's the afternoon, but it's in this great porcelain cup. The timing couldn't be right. It may have just hit just right because I just hit that amazing herb. I hope to do some more trips to all the legal states. Michigan, I need to get back out to Michigan. I know I'm going out there to visit family soon. So maybe I'll line up, would be the wise thing to do, is line up some dispensaries and some comedians and some musicians. I bet I could find some out there. And everywhere I go. I just feel a little bit braver to do more traveling shows. If you want to book me, check out my website. There should be booking content on the bio, but robcantrell.com. robcantrell.com. Contact at robcantrell is the email.com. But there's also management. You can deal with that. Not to get too official. And the mailing list is when I get super official. But I'm trying to make it more official. But at the same time, I don't want to be salesy, and all that. It needs to be fun. And coffee and herb is definitely fun. And this pipe and Tabor, great roasting company. Oh, man. Literally one of the best bags of coffee, and this is one of the best. And I might say this every week, but I think it's just opening up and getting better. Same with this podcast. It's going to get better. It's like the wheel. It's going to, I just got to be focusing on it. So it helps if you like and subscribe. So all you stoners, friends and loved ones and haters, like and subscribe. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. So Outcasts, Bombs Over Baghdad. That video is just fucking insane. These are some of the beats that I've been playing. Right off the top, this is an algorithm picked this up, but I like looking at this. But this is what I listen to YouTube all the time. That's why I like the YouTube angle on this podcast. Like and subscribe to the Cannabis Coffee Hour YouTube. But I got Grateful Dead, Dear Jude. Dear Mr. Fantasy, Hey Jude. That's from a Dick's Pick, bruh. And then Mavericks Left Session 2020 from Powerline Video Production. Check those dudes out. Outcast, Bombs Over Baghdad. Modest Yahoo, The Wheel by Jerry Garcia. And then Michael Friante, the dude from Spearhead. Bono and Don Henley. I saw some song. I went down a wormhole of... I'm a big fan of Michael Friante from the band Spearhead. They had this great 90s funk band, and he did like rap. And then he's like this folk artist. Is like probably the most uncelebrated, but I know he is celebrated, and he constantly gigs. A lot of people that aren't in super pop culture constantly gig. So, I mean, he's constantly gigging. I don't understand some of these cats, how they just like, where has he been? Well, the motherfucker's been paying rent, or paying off a mortgage. Cypress Hill, Latin Lingo. That is one of my favorite Cypress Hill songs, is Latin Lingo. Slightly Stupid, Kali Man. I like that song. Stick Figure, Fire on the Horizon. That's just a fire-ass song. Even if you want to hate on reggae, that's a fire-ass song. Stick Figure, Fire on the Horizon. Grateful Dead, Bertha, killing it. Grateful Dead Ripple at New York, New York live version. That's a great joint, man. Because they only played Ripple like the Grateful Dead only played the song Ripple live like 12 times. And one of them was on this like 70s tour where they would end the set like all acoustic, kind of like what Unplugged did, but they would just do like these series of psychedelic songs acoustically. And that's the band. The Grateful Dead was originally kind of an acoustic-y folk jug band. So that must have been cool and awesome at the time. But that's when they played the song Ripple. And then it's a great song. Jane's Addiction ended up covering it. And they do a great the dude Perry Farrell cover. I think Jane's Addiction covers it. I'm not sure if it's just Perry Farrell or Jane's Addiction or both. But they were Deadheads. And it's like a trip. That's like one of the more beautiful songs. Ripple, bruh. I said bruh. I said I wasn't gonna say bruh. Um, but I still do. I have any? Getting towards the end of the herb. Getting towards the end of the coffee. Yeah, just gonna go out, do my steps, do some pull-ups, figure out dinner. I haven't eaten that much crazy meat, but I did do like a ramen noodle joint. I did do this, but it was a tom yum. It was called a cilantro bomb, and it was like ramen noodles, but with fresh cilantro, like chopped and poured over top of it. But then it was like that Thai soup, the tom yum soup. This soup, if you ever had the tom yum, it's made with coconut milk, and it settles your stomach. It does this weird thing. I know when I used to drink and I had some tom yum soup, that would like knock out the hangover. But it is like and there's no cheese or anything. Yeah, I backpacked through Thailand and Southeast Asia in my 20s, just like it was right a year before the movie The Beach came out. But the one thing that I took away from that was I dropped like 10 pounds because there's no cheese. The thing about Thai food, it's mostly like peanuts and then like chicken and then cashews, a lot of leaves, a lot of coconut milk. I've been using this coconut sugar as a sweetener for my smoothie that I've been enjoying. I wonder if it's good or bad for me. I don't know. I think my wife got it for some type of cookie bacon thing. Oh, that's some damn good coffee right there. Getting down to the last sips. I've been doing mostly oat milk. This has a vanilla tinge. I don't mind a good vanilla tinge to my creamer. What's those super sweet 7-Eleven non-milk sugar bombs. I guess Irish. What is it? It's like all the flavors in the pump, in the unnatural pump. But I like those things now and then. I could definitely groove out on them. Not as my always, creamer, but as my, what I got. I got my jug of Nalgene water. I won't drink that right now, but after the podcast, the goal will be I'm going to drink 32 ounces of water, just like crush that bad boy, and then go for a walk. And then hopefully go by the pull-up bar. But if there's a lot of cats over there, if there's too much testosterone and COVID, if it's like a mixture of COVID and testosterone, if there's too many cats over there, I ain't going fuck over there. I don't mess with. I like it when there's nobody around the pull-up bar. That's when I hang out. But sometimes I'll go over there. Sometimes I wonder if it's my social anxiety. But I've been facing my awkwardness, my social awkwardness head on lately. I've been like, oh, fuck that. There's no time for that. The older you get used to that. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. social awkwardness. Like, you just gotta go right towards it. Everything's gonna be awkward. Everything is awkward. Every moment's brand new. That's the thing about the moment. That's what's so dope about it. And that's what, the ego's so dangerous that people hang on. And, that's why I try to keep my fucking head open, my brain open, and my fucking heart open. At least try to. Because there is all these different sides to the story. But love is the message. And my message is peace and love. And nature and chilling. But at the same time, you got to practice who you are, and you got to step up and not take any bullshit. But at the same time, your vibe's your vibe. It's on you, and you can control your vibe. At least that's what I try to do, and not get the monkey mind. The judgments. Just try to fucking, boom. Not be on my phone. Try to stay productive. Feel where you want to go next. I mean, Star Wars was right at the end of the day. Everybody knows that. But yeah, just those are the kind of tunes that I'm listening to, I guess. That's what the algorithm knows. They don't know about my other tunes. Spotify, yeah, I've been listening to it. Turnstile a little bit. A lot of nothing. Like a lot of like, I can dig a cool breeze or a bird squawking that I haven't heard before. Like I have been picking up on that. And then at night when nobody's around, like I'll go to watch TV and I'll just sit there in the quiet. And I think I just zone out. Like I just close my eyes. And if my mind runs too much, I do have like these certain mantras, but I won't go there with this podcast. But I just mostly haven't been like, I'll be like, yo, I gotta watch this. I'm gonna watch this. Oh, that looks great. And then I line it up, and then then I wake up. It's 2 hours later. I'm like, oh shit. And then I go to sleep. I've been brushed, but I have been getting baked and then waking up and brushing my teeth. I have been really good about that. I just had a dentist visit, and they said I haven't got any cavities, so that's a good thing. And I've been using Act. I think a lot of the game is mouthwash. A lot of mouthwash. I'd like to get some more mouthwash. I got Act, Cinnamon Act right now, which I love. But I had some fucking high-end like Crest Listerine combo, Death New Punch, CBD. I don't know, they got all kinds of shit. But I think washcloths and I'm about minimalism, like good coffee, good herb, good washcloths. Then what we were talking about. Good mouthwash. Get some of that good Listerine. Get some vitamin C in there. Make sure it has the baking soda. The baking soda, CBD, vitamin C, plaque killing, enamel intensifying mouthwash. The stuff that kills everything. The Listerine is for the germs, and then the Act is for the enamel. Yeah, I want to get good mouthwash, good herb, good coffee, and then I want to get a trike. It's a bicycle. It's a bicycle with 3 wheels. Like, it's like a 3-wheeler, but it's a bicycle. And then it has like that. Well, I see a lot of delivery people have. I want a good trike that's somewhat electric, that I can run around in. And I want to live in Brooklyn, but also have a beach spot somewhere where like I sell visors and more good weed and coffee. I don't know. Maybe I just need to open up a weed coffee comedy club. That's too much responsibility. I'm barely keeping this podcast going. But it's growing and I love it. I mean, the YouTube is infinite, man. The YouTube is doing its thing. The YouTube's just becoming its own thing. And that's what I want it to be. But I also want to just be positive energy and just try to get positive people on here and have a good time and vibe it out with some good coffee, with some good weed, with some good mouthwash and some good washcloths in a trike. Coffee, weed, washcloths, wash mouth, what mouthwash, washcloths, mouthwash. Man, you could have. Oh, there's so much fun there. Mouthwash, washcloths, trike, beach environment or ski lodge. Ski lodge, beach pad with a trike. Expensive mouthwash, good weed, strong coffee. All of it, I was going to say good, if you know the person, it just felt like this dude, I got to say, Pipe and Tabor Roasting, give them a shout out. I'm going to try to get that cat on the podcast. But yeah, thank you for listening, everybody. That's this, and I love you, and like and subscribe. Peace. Oh, did I finish the whole thing? It'd be good weed, good coffee, good mouthwash, good washcloths, and electric solar powered trike bicycle.